Pronouns in Canadian schools. It's becoming typical in our state, our provinces, like in the States, where it's become very anti-trans, which is very much like just a visage for being anti-LGBT, and it's like, where do you separate, like, I'm in a relationship with a lesbian. Where do you separate these two different things? They don't separate, but they're trying to separate. They're trying to stop kids from using pronouns 16 under without if they attempt to do it, parents will be informed, kind of thing. It's like a threat, right? But the reality of the situation is two things. One is that, like, if you try to, like, muzzle that, right? If you try, you will get the most rebellious blowback you've ever seen in your entire life, right? And B, if you don't allow people to be themselves, they will be miserable. They will spend the rest of their life attempting to conform to being heterosexual and be miserable.
Like me. Like I was.
And that's the point of this vlog.
I mean, I knew young that I liked girls. But my dad was a really strict person, and there's no way he would have put up with it. So I had to conform. And why? Like, it's not right. I probably would be happily married to some woman right now. And yeah, it messes with you in not a good way. Like, I didn't get to be myself till it took me forever to become myself and be happy. And trying to shove that down someone's throat all the time, you're just gonna, you think teenagers rebel now? Pull all that stuff and it's gonna be 20, 30, 50, 100 times worse, a million times worse. You can't do that to people and expect to get a good outcome from that. It just doesn't work like that. Like, they may conform for now, but in the end, it'll end up being not a good thing. I think it's a bad idea. Like, I don't understand the mentality either. Just let people be who they are, and they'll be a lot happier. Let people say what they want to say and be who they want to be. That's the bottom line in life. If you try to change people who people are too much, it messes with everything.
You can't change who people are, right? You can't do it. You can't even beat it out of the person. My mother, I mean, you can beat conformity into the person, right? Like, I very much conformed, and I think probably the same is true of you, very much conformed as a point of survival, right? In a very heterosexual world, a very heteronormative, I would say, world, right? Where it's like the rest of the world is like, there's no gender variance, there's not people stuck in the wrong bodies, it's not laudable, there's not, homosexuality is laudable, and all this sort of jazz, right? But it's like, at our age, right? At our age, what has changed? We're still who we are.
I knew when I was very, very young. I slept with my best friend's sister when I was very, very young, and I knew that I liked girls. But my dad was an ogre, and I was afraid of him, and I conformed to what he said because I was scared. But that doesn't make it right. I probably, like I said, I'd probably be married to some nice woman right now and be perfectly happy. So shoving stuff down people's throat doesn't work. It didn't change anything. It just made my life miserable for 38 years, honestly.
Same.
And why did I have to live like that? Why do I have to be miserable? Like, I finally know who I am, and I finally get to be who I want to be. But it took me 60 years to get there because of all the baloney that comes with it. Just let people be who they want to be. It's not right.
Conforming, like, I mean, there is an aspect of conforming that is an aspect of survival, and it's very logical, right? But it doesn't change who and what you are.
It absolutely doesn't. Absolutely doesn't at all.
If anything, if you're slightly different than the rest of the pack, you know, like there is all kinds of shame associated with that. Like I was called faggot all throughout high school.
Well, that's just mean.
All throughout junior high and high school. It wasn't until I became like a guitar god kind of thing in high school, right? You know what high school is like.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't until I became like that there was like
some popularity.
People stopped calling me faggot. You know, but truth be told,
because that was cool.
Truth be told, I was very confused, right? And I kind of like thought maybe I was. Yet I was also dating girls. You know, I slept with a guy when I was 14, and I very much thought that I was like his girlfriend. You know, and it took me a long time to figure out like what my sexuality is and what my gender is. You know, but had I been able to do something like experiment with pronouns without any shame, right? You know, then
things could have been totally different.
My life could have been completely different. Completely different. We both could have met someone. Perhaps we could have met.
We could have met.
We could have met, right? We could have met if we weren't conforming to like heterosexuality.
Yeah, you never know. I really wish I would have met her years ago, honestly.
Could have like got married and been happy ever after. You know? I don't know that I could have had kids with you, girl. we could have adopted kids.
There we go. Neither one of us really wanted to do that part. But I just conformed and I ended up having children.
I think we could have done that.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Not without me like showering and bleach and crying afterwards anyways.
The point is though, just let people be who they want to be and who they are without like shoving stuff down their throat. Like, and telling people how to act and how to talk and how to be and all. You're not doing it. Nothing's going to change.
There's no shame to being homosexual, to being somebody who transitioned, to being a they type,
to being a lesbian,
bisexual, or anything. There's no more shame associated to it than there's being heterosexual.
I agree.
Right? It's all just an aspect of it's all just human sexuality, human gender identity.
Yeah. Some of the most famous people in the world are gay.
Right? You don't feel ashamed about having had kids.
No, I don't. No.
Right? I don't feel ashamed about having had girlfriends and stuff like that before I transitioned, right? You know, I don't feel ashamed about having slept with guys after I transitioned, for example, right? I didn't feel ashamed about having branched out into like attempting to be heterosexual. You know, because there is no shame in it. But there's no shame in being who and what you are, you know, as the common denominator. Right? If you're gay, there's no shame in being gay. If you're a girl who transitioned, there's no shame in being a girl who transitioned. If you're a girl who transitioned and is attracted to women, there's no shame in being that. If you're like a masked lesbian they type, there's no shame in being that. Right? If you're the flaming homosexual dude, there's no shame in being a flaming homosexual dude. Any more than there isn't shame in being a father or a mother or, you know, you're...
And why do people care so much what we do? They have their life. We have our life. We're not out there hurting people or we're just trying to live just like everybody else.
It's programming. Because you're programmed to feel a sense of shame, a sense of right or wrong over something like homosexuality, heterosexuality.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to be programmed anymore.
Well, we're all, it's internalized homosexuality, internalized transphobia. We're all like this, right? We're all programmed this way by society at large.
Because they condemn us. Because we're not them. Well, if everyone was the same, it'd be a pretty boring world, wouldn't it? I mean, really? Like, look at Elton John. He's gay. He's famous.
I think Elton John's bisexual, actually.
Well,
You ever watched Spice World?
No.
Elton John's, they're doing like the Spinal Tap thing in the background where they're trying to find the stage. Spice Girls are going one way, Elton John's going another. They stop, and Elton John's like, "Ooh, Spice Girls."
No, I've never seen that one, actually.
Yeah.
No. The whole point of it is just let people be who they want to be, without condemning them, without judgment, without all of the pull that comes with it. It doesn't change a damn thing. I was gay when I was 12, and I'm still gay at age 61. Not a thing has changed. I just conformed for too long. That's my biggest regret in life. It really is. But I don't regret my children. I had 2 sons, and I don't regret that.
You've been masked your entire life.
Yes.
Your entire life.
My entire life, I've dressed like a boy. I've never liked dresses. I never liked frilly shirts. I knew I liked girls. I knew that young. But like I said, I had to conform. Because that's what society makes you do, or your parent, or whatever. Because God forbid that you would embarrass your family.
With shame.
Yeah. But I'm not ashamed of who I am. I know who I am, and I know I'm a good person, and I know I don't go out of my way to hurt people. But who I sleep with's not your business. It just isn't.
I disagree. It's like people say, like I've had people say to me, like, well, if you grow breasts, that's your own business, or what you do in your own bedroom is your own business. And I disagree, because I'm not saying that it's like other people's business to get involved in, but it's like I am allowed to be who it is that I am allowed to be.
Yeah.
I do not have to like conform. I do not have to like.
I'm a big girl now. That's when it comes to my mind. I can do whatever I want.
Right? And like both you and I both knew what the situation was like before puberty.
Oh, for sure. I didn't have a childhood. I really didn't. I grew up fast. Like, you're not supposed to be having sex at age 6. That's not normal. So, yeah.
And being LGBT people was also like beaten out of both of us.
Yeah. My dad would just grab whatever. And whatever was in reach. He'll throw it at you or hit you with it or whatever, but you're going to do what I say. I was afraid of him, and that's why I conformed.
Yeah, like I was molested when I was younger. You went through the same thing, and we're still who we are.
It didn't change anything.
And not to mention too, it's like I was also physically and emotionally abused growing up. Like we were both physically abused. Like I remember getting the buckle end of the belt numerous times. I was choked. I was put up against the wall. It hit so hard I was knocked over. Like why would you want? How can the government regulate, right? Really be involved in the lives of parents and parenting, and ensure that parents and parenting are, not the problem, right?
It's supposed to be the solution.
That the child is safe and happy, right? Sometimes you need an institution that you are a part of, like a school, to ensure that the child is safe and happy.
Well,
right?
yeah.
And hiding something like, I'm, a gay trans girl, or I'm a flaming gay dude, or I'm a butch lesbian, or I'm a femme lesbian, or something, right? May need to happen when it comes to hiding it from parents, because children sometimes live in fear. We both did.
Oh God, yeah. I was definitely afraid of my father. He would grab whatever he could get his hands on. And if it was the lamp that was next to him, then he'd throw it at you. And if it was, I mean, he built an oar with a wooden brick on it to hit you with. It was messed up. Like,
and it was illegal then, and it's illegal today. And what has changed?
Nothing.
Right? Why would you ensure the safety of the utter entire safety of children to the parents, when the reality is, that sometimes parents are abusive, but we have this concept of the nuclear family as being like the hearth and all things good,
end all be all.
The champion of heterosexuality, and
the only way.
Everything wholesome, is the family. And that's not necessarily true.
That's so false. There's not just our families, there's a lot of families that are not right. They're not right. And it comes from upbringing. I believe that a lot of it comes from how you're brought up. I believe.
Do you think there's like for example, like she/they type lesbians? They're kind of like masked butch lesbians who also acknowledge the fact that they're female. They also don't take hormones and stuff like that, but they change their gender to being like a they. They are she/they. Right? Do you think you kind of strike me as somebody who would have been someone like that?
Yeah. Yeah. More than likely.
I'm not trying to shove anything down your throat.
No, you're probably right. I probably still could probably be a she/they, honestly, in some form or another.
And that's often like, some women that I'm attracted to. And I've been attracted to like very masked women all my entire life.
And I've been attracted to feminine women my life. I can't see myself with someone that dresses like I do. I'd rather be with a woman that dresses like she does. I like seeing someone else in a dress and showing their legs and cleavage and whatever, but that's not for me. I can't do that. It's just not who I am.
And it doesn't negate your being female.
I'm still female. I still have breasts and all the parts that a female has.
Here's like one aspect about pronouns. Is that like, who says that masked lesbians, right, or like effeminate gay men, genderqueer straight boys, right, aren't boys or men or women? Who says that masked women, butch women, aren't women? And that being a masked woman isn't an aspect of being female.
I'm still a female. I was born with female parts. I have breasts. I still think like a female does. I'm pretty sure.
But, like when we talk about it, like we were talking about the other night when you're like, I was like, wow, that girl has an amazing body. And you're like, yeah, I wish I had that body. And I was like, as a butch lesbian? And you're like, yeah.
Who wouldn't want a nice, sexy body? I mean,
would you prefer that, or would you prefer to be like, have a dude's body, chest hair and?
No, I don't like hair. I don't like hairy stuff. I'm not if I get hair on where you can shave it off, it's coming off. Like that's the way it is. Like I don't like hairy legs, and I can't stand women who grow their armpit hairs and stuff.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No,
right?
whatever people
whatever
want,
people like.
whatever you're
right?
into is up to you. I'm not judging who you are. You want, if that's what you're into, great. But let me be.
I'd date a girl with hairy legs. Wouldn't bother me.
I would too. I'm just saying, for me, I like it off my body. I'm not saying that I'm condemning someone else. Whatever you're into, be who you are. That's my thing. Just be who you are. Don't let anyone else tell you that you have to be like this or you have to be like that, because you don't. That's the one thing people can't take from you. You can't, and you put it in your mind. You can be who you are if you want to be.
You look at a lot of like gay dudes, or like a lot of homosexuals or trans people in general. It's like they have this internalized transphobia, internalized homophobia, or something like that, right? You know, like I do like deeply, innately hate me.
And I just don't get why she does, because she's beautiful. She is smart and funny, works hard.
It's because I've been programmed to hate me.
I know, and it's sad. It makes me sad that you're like that, because you're awesome.
Yeah, but it's just like it's not going away in this lifetime. It's so deeply embedded in me that it's not going to like.
It's never leaving. And
Yeah.
that's what happens. We get stuff that is embedded in us.
I mean, we both have a long history of alcohol and drug abuse, right? Can you not say that that's not because of like internalized homophobia, internalized like transphobia?
Mine's totally from all. Mine's probably from what happened to me as a child.
We probably could have
trying to
bypassed all that and had happier lives.
People say, "Oh, you should be over it," or "You should get over it," or whatever. You don't get over it. It doesn't go away. I've tried to make it stop. I can't. It's always there in the back of your mind when something can trigger, a word can trigger it, or some action can trigger it, or you don't know what's going to trigger it, but it's always there. It doesn't leave. And that's what you people need to remember when you're trying to program these kids. If things go south for them and everything, they're not going to forget this stuff. It doesn't leave, and it affects who they are for a long time until they can actually, hopefully, make it stop. But the chances of that are not good.
We ban conversion therapy because conversion therapy doesn't work. It just makes a person miserable.
Ultimately, my main goal in life now is to be happy, and that's all I want. That's my mission now. I just want to be happy. So, just let us be happy.
I mean, that is like the literal definition of being gay.
Right?
Wanting to be happy.
Yeah.
I know you look at like a lot of lesbians. A lot of lesbians have like drug problems. A lot of trans girls have drug problems.
I've had drug problems in my life.
A lot of trans men have drug and alcohol problems. Gay people in general have drug and alcohol problems.
And I still think sometimes when my life isn't going the way I like, or I still feel like sometimes I could totally go back there, and it scares the hell out of me. I don't want to do that.
But I'm sure that the two are associated.
Oh, absolutely. Drug and alcohol addiction probably comes hand in hand with that. Absolutely.
Like I dated these two trans girls. One was a day type. One was another girl transitioned. And I really feel like with the first one, it was very much like the reason why things fell apart was because she did not want to be accosted by the rest of the world, with this idea of being, okay, we're two gay dudes. Or being accosted with the idea of like, we're two lesbians.
Yeah, because people
right?
judge.
Yeah, some people say that
we're not accepted as widely as people say we are.
Some people say that people who transition are trying to avoid being homosexuals, right? If that's true, and I don't say that that's true, it might be true in some cases, But it's like, if that's true, right? You know, then why would you not allow them to be themselves?
And that's in a nutshell. Just let people be themselves. People would be so much happier. It'd be a way happier world, I think. Because it's just stress. It's too much stress.
If I was a gay dude, I'd just be a gay dude. I'm not.
And you never will be.
Probably not.
No. No. I can't see you as a gay dude. But
I had some experiences like before I transitioned, and you know, like you don't like, one of the things I always say is that like you don't really know who and what you are unless you actually like go out and take a little sample of it, right?
Yeah.
And it was a bit like that, you know, and it was kind of like, I don't think this is for me. You know?
Yeah.
That was part of like how I figured out who and what I am.
I mean, I was with a man for 38 years, and I shouldn't have been, and I wasn't happy. Maybe the first few years, and when I had my children, that was a happy time. But besides that, not really. Too much conformity. I should have bailed long before I did and became this, who I am now. Because I know who I am now, and I'm happy who I am, and I'm not going to change for anyone, and no one can make me do anything.
When I attempted to like, when I was single for a while, and largely because I did not want to be in like a relationship. Did not want to be in a relationship, did not want to be having sex. I was kind of like asexual before I transitioned. Right? But I had been dealing with like all of this crap my entire life that I just like it depressed me to the point of being like asexual. Right? And the idea of like straight sex or gay dude sex or something like that really just did not jazz me that much.
No, of course not.
Not that much, you know, but it was like it came to a point in my life where it was like, if I don't transition, I'm going to kill myself because I can't stop thinking about killing myself. Right? And I started transitioning initially, and I would just feel more comfortable with myself. Like I was miserable, and I just wanted to be happy, and like in the privacy of my own home and whatnot, I was myself. Right around my friends, I was myself. And started becoming around my coworkers, I was myself. On the street, I was myself. And yet I was still not myself because I wasn't on hormones. Right? And it wasn't until after that I took hormones, you know, it wasn't that I actually started feeling somewhat more like myself. But I still have all this programming and all this shame like plugged into me. And I still literally hate myself. Had I been able to use pronouns, I would have been able to figure out who I am, right? What my sexuality is.
Way sooner,
right? I would have been happier if I didn't have all the shame associated to it, right? You know, and I didn't have had like my mother literally like beat it out of me. My mother used to yell at me about things and stuff like that, right? You know, you went through the same crap. You know, had we not gone through that crap, had there not been all that shame, you know,
we'd probably be living a lot different life than we do.
We probably would have met somebody who was just, you know, I don't know if we would have ever met. We met somebody who was like us and been happy.
When I was 22, I had enough, and I got a hold of a bottle of pills, and I took all of them. And I was laying in my bed, and I was going to die. And all of a sudden, I didn't want to. And I had a friend who was a nurse, and I got on the phone, and I called her, and I said, this is what I just did, and I don't want to die now. What do I do? So if you don't want your kid doing that, how about let them be who they are, and let them talk, and let them spread their wings and fly wherever they want to? Or you're going to end, what if I didn't change my mind? I wouldn't be here now. But all of a sudden, I just didn't want to. In one moment, I wanted to die, and then the next moment, I didn't. And my nurse friend told me what I needed to do, and I did it, and I survived. But that's scary. Like, I tried to kill myself.
Before I transitioned, like, I had to go through 6 months of a waiting period before I was allowed to go on hormones. And they were the worst 6 months of my life. The worst 6 months. Don't put the cup back up there because it'll knock the camera over. The worst 6 months of my life. Like, the worst. To the point towards the end of it, after all the misery of being called a he, she, and people pointing at me, and people calling me
a faggot,
hollering faggot at me on the street, and all kinds of things, right? I eventually reached the point where before hormones, I was like, I pulled my chair from my balcony one day, and I had 1 foot on the chair, 1 foot on the balcony. I was like, I'm going to jump.
And she's on the 18th floor.
And I'd been telling my mother, like, I'm going to jump. I'm going to do this. I'm going to kill myself. I'm done with this crap. Maybe I should go and talk to someone and take care of it. But it was like pent-up crap that had been in there like my entire life.
Stuff that we've never been able to let out.
I'd never been able to really to be myself. You know, and yes, I still like very much like hate myself because of dysphoria and internalized like homophobia. You know, like the idea of being like a gay trans girl is like just scary to me. I tried to be straight.
I think you're awesome. I really do. Beautiful, intelligent, funny, serious. Can put me in my place, and no woman ever does that. Challenges me in good ways, makes me think differently, which is different for me. But I like it. No one's ever challenged me as much as this one. Because no one ever had the balls to.
And also, too, like a lot of people who, like, discredit someone like me and whatnot. Like, you know, like, they're like, well, you're not really a woman. And all this sort of shit, right? Would you date a dude?
Nope. You're not a dude. You're not even close to being a dude. There's no dude here. No dude. She's all woman as far as I'm concerned. There's no dude. I'm more of a dude.
You'll hurt me as an insult, but you won't like...
Yes, I can be a bitch. Sometimes I'm nasty and mean. But I'm trying not to be that person. Certain things just set me off sometimes that I just lose it. Even to this day. And I'm not proud of that. I hang my head and look at the floor. Honestly. I don't want to be that person. But it stems from early on.
Yeah, exactly.
I grew up in a violent place. And I'm surprised I'm not in prison, honestly. I'm surprised I haven't hurt somebody very badly. I've done things in my life that I'm not proud of, that have hurt people, but I would never go out of my way now to hurt anyone. Unless they're going to hurt someone that I really love and care about, then yes, I will step up, and it probably wouldn't be great for whoever I'm stepping up to. Because, yeah. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that person. I'll avoid it as much as I can, but you just don't keep poking the bear. Right? You don't poke a bear. The bear will eat you.
I see it more as a lioness than a bear.
Okay.
But there might be a mama bear kind of thing going on.
A lioness? Yeah. Maybe a lioness might not be a bad... Yeah. The lionesses are the hunter. They're the ones that...
1 tequila, 2 tequila, 3 tequila cougar.
See? Funny. So just let people be who they want to be and don't judge them. The world would be a way better place if people would just mind their own business. That's the other part. Just mind your own business. I'm not in your business. Don't be in my business.
And I don't think like this, like not allowing children to use pronouns. One, they're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
They're going to do it anyway.
It's like my dad said, don't swear.
Yeah.
But I can swear. Well, I'm going to go swear like a sailor. Because
Right.
he told me not to. They're going to do the exact opposite.
I've had gay friends, like gay dude friends, right?
Yeah.
And I walk up and be like, "Hey, girl," and they'd be like, "Hey, girl, how you doing?" Right? They're gonna do it anyway. They're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah. They're not going to listen. Kids don't. They rebel. That's what happens. You, as an adult, think about it. Think about your life when you were. Did you rebel? You bet you did. You didn't do everything your parents told you. There's no. I don't know any kid on the planet who did everything their parents told them to. If you tell me that, I'm going to tell you a lie. Because that can't be true. There's no perfect person.
No, I think you should put the power back in the hands of the kids. If kids who are under 16 want to allow their parents to know, who they are, right? Then they should be the ones who tell them.
Because they're entering into. They know right from wrong by then.
They should not be outed by their schools or the various institutions that they're parts of, right?
It doesn't make any sense, and it's not gonna be good. It's not. You gotta let them be who they are, or they're gonna rebel, and it's gonna be nasty.
And two, it's like this is pronouns, right? This is just pronouns. Right? There's not even a legal change of pronouns. You're just talking about the use of pronouns.
Which is ludicrous.
Right? Completely ludicrous. And on top of it, too, it's like, you're not going to change it.
And laughable. I mean,
it's completely laudable.
It's laughable. It's like, kids do what they want. They don't always listen to mom and dad. That's a fact. And teenagers, that's a whole different thing. And they're headed to being adults. They've got to start making their own decisions. And you have to let them. They need to make their own mistakes and learn from them.
How do you know which kids live in fear of their parents?
You don't. Unless they portray that or say something, you don't know, and they won't.
How do you ensure that parents are not like abusing their children? How would you know what goes on behind closed doors in the family?
You don't, and
that's household.
You don't, or I would have been taken away very young.
Same.
Yeah, no. A lot of my dad's friends abused me in the worst possible ways, and if people knew that was going on, I would have been removed from the home.
It's like the loss with all this privacy nowadays. Like they talk about all the CCTV cams are out there, and all this data is being collected on people and whatnot. And it's like if I'm walking down the street and someone does drive by, who's gonna come and put me in the ambulance and take me to the hospital without me making a call?
No one.
No one.
Like they say, if you're out on the street and something's going wrong, don't yell help, because no one will help you. Yell fire, because they'll come then.
Right.
That's the truth. If they think the house is on fire, they're coming. But if you yell help, they'll turn around and walk the other way, because they don't care. But if their house is on fire, they care. Or if the house next to them is on fire, they care, because then their house is going to light on fire. So don't do that, because that's the truth. Absolutely. Don't yell help, yell fire. You get way better results, and that's kind of sad. If I was on the street and someone was yelling help, I would help them, but not many people will.
I never came out to my mother or my stepfathers. Never came out. Never said like, oh, Mom, I don't know, I'm kind of questioning my sexuality, kind of questioning my gender. Never. Why? Shame.
And they would have made you feel that, more ashamed. The families aren't supposed to do that. They're supposed to help you to thrive and grow and be who you're going to become, not make you feel like bad because you're gay.
I was into my mother's clothes. I was into my mother's makeup. I was into my mother's like women's magazines. Like I just thought I was going to become female, and I just wanted to be like. I was kind of like wanting to be like engrossed in these sort of things.
And we're just the opposite. I dressed in jeans and t-shirts and like I do now. And
drove boys bikes.
I drove boys bikes with the bars. I regret that one though.
Actually, my first bikes I got were from girls.
I didn't like girl stuff. I didn't want dolls and all that. I like to go and find the snakes and the bugs and go and play at the river and go fish and whatever. I like doing the boy things. There used to be these trees we used to climb when I was a kid, and they were tall, but they were spindly, and you'd get to the top, and then you could jump hanging on, and then you'd get part way down because you built a big thing of leaves, and they'd snap, and you'd fall, and that's what I wanted to do. Not play with Barbie. No.
I kind of did everything and anything.
I wasn't a Barbie girl. But I had dolls. There was one doll I liked when I was a girl, but she talked. Her name was Chatty Cathy, and that doll could chat. And it gave me someone to talk to. So I did like that doll. I actually remember that doll quite well. But besides that, not so much.
I remember playing with Barbies. I never owned any, but I remember playing with Barbies with girls. I used to go like and play hopscotch and skip rope and all kinds of things with girls, but I was also attracted to them.
I like tetherball. I was really good at tetherball.
I played tetherball.
They don't even have tetherball anymore.
I used to go riding bikes with girls when I was a kid. And I also had a male best friend because I was like, by what's classified as being a boy. And so I did all the other things too. Like I went playing in the woods all the time. And I had like BMX bikes and like chase snakes and frogs and
like me.
Yeah.
The best bike I ever got was my chrome bike.
Ate crab apples and got sore stomachs.
I used to go pick Saskatoons and wild berries. I used to go look for wild berries and stuff.
Oh, the blackberries in Nova Scotia.
So good.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. Those were the good things. I lived next door to a stockyard, and the man who owned the stockyard took a liking to me. And I used to go over there and help with the goats and scoop the poop and just go and be there just so I didn't have to be at home. And one day I went there and he bought me this red cowboy hat because he knew red was my favorite color. And he gave me this red cowboy hat. And it was one of the most, I'll never forget it. I was so thrilled that somebody did something nice for me, because I don't even remember ever even having a birthday party. Ever. I don't ever remember having a birthday party until I got older and my friends threw one for me. But as a kid, I don't ever remember having kids over for cake and all that. My mom would make me a cake. I like German chocolate cake. I really miss German chocolate cake. But
I miss German food. My stepfather was German. We ate all kinds of German food.
Me too. I miss my grandmother's cooking. She made the best borscht I've ever had in my whole life. It was so good. And when she passed, I went to my aunties and I went, "You've got to have the recipe for Grandma's borscht." And they looked at me and went, "Nope. Grandma didn't have any recipe book. It was all up here." She didn't have a recipe book. Her recipe book was her brain. And
potato pancakes?
Yeah.
Potato pancakes are amazing.
Oh, I know. With blueberry.
We should make potato pancakes.
Oh, yeah. We should. Actually, she should make potato pancakes. I hate cooking and she likes cooking.
I do the cooking most of the time.
I hate cooking. If
like
it wasn't for her, I'd probably starve to death. I'd probably be eating out of... Before I met Aurora, I ate out of 7-Eleven a lot. Taquitos and hot dogs and pizza. Bad stuff. Since I've been with Aurora, I eat a lot better, and I've lost 25 pounds. and I fit in all my clothes again, and that is so exciting for me. I kept all these shirts and stuff. They actually go right over my pants and my butt and everything. And I'm like, holy, like, yeah, I'm happy about it. So, yeah.
I used to bake as a kid. I used to make all kinds of like cookies and
I'm a good baker.
scones. I used to make all kinds of scones.
My kids say I make the best chocolate chip cookies on the planet. Matter of fact, at Christmas I usually make them each a bucket or two of chocolate chip cookies. Yeah, and they look forward to it. And now my two granddaughters like Grandma's chocolate chip cookies too.
One aspect too though is like one thing that you don't really know unless you like using pronouns. For example, is it like just because you like to play in the woods, or just because you like to ride BMX bicycles, or you love the bicycles that you got from like your female friends as a child, because of the colors and stuff like that, or you love like playing games with girls or something, or playing hopscotch or skip rope or something like that, those are not necessarily masculine or female things.
No. Males do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Barbies is not necessarily a masculine or female thing.
That's why they made a Ken.
It's like this remote. Like this remote is not a male or a female thing. And the same true applies to hammers and everything else.
I have my own hammers.
Builder Bob can be Builder Bonnie, or occupations or whatnot, or like,
Well, I'm a woodworker by profession.
I'm pre-op.
Okay, see what I mean? Funny. And that's why she's awesome. She just comes up with this stuff. She makes me laugh all the time. And that's awesome. I've never been with someone who makes me laugh as much as
To be or not to be?
That is the question.
What is your pronoun?
Scully. That's what I'm going to name that, Scully. So the point is, just give me head till I'm dead. See, we have a great sense of humor and we have fun. What's wrong with that?
Well, we call it FaceTime, though.
Give me your face. Over here. See, we have fun. And there's nothing wrong with that. Let your kids be who they are. Let them speak what they want. Let them just be. Because you're not doing yourself any favors.
Fuck shame.
Fuck
shame.
Fucking right. So I'm not ashamed of squat.
How do you know that you're straight unless you've at least contemplated homosexuality? Right? You might say, yeah, I don't know that I want to try that. Or maybe some people, it's like they have to try it to know that that's not for them. And then they know, okay, so I'm straight.
But at least try. If you have any doubts at all.
Or contemplate it. Like if you think that maybe you're in the wrong body, like you're a she, they, lesbian type, and you don't know, like maybe I'm a he, they, maybe I'm just he, maybe I'm a she. Right? You don't know unless you like just literally try out something like a pronoun.
I always felt like I should have been born a boy.
You can walk away from a pronoun.
Right. Yes. You sure can.
Especially when it's not a legal change. You can walk away from it. Right? But you can't walk away from internalized homophobia. You can't walk away from a sense of shame. You can't walk away from all the shit that you went through in your family because of who and what you are.
Yeah, people are judgy, and they shouldn't be.
Like people who suffer discrimination of any sort, be it racial or about gender identity or about sexuality or whatever, right? It's like, that has to manifest itself in some way in the person. And the way that usually it manifests itself is through hatred. And that's usually expressed through things like self-abuse, like cutting, or through things like drugs, alcohol, especially alcohol, right?
Yeah, a lot of people use substances to mask. I mean, even to this day, when, like I said, when things go wrong, I could go running back to something like that. Sometimes I'm not gonna say I don't think about it. I do. I absolutely do think when things aren't going right for me and stuff, sometimes I want to revert back to that, but I know what that is, and I've been there, and I don't want to go back there because I want to learn from my mistakes. And I know where that leads, and it'll probably lead to me dying, and I don't want to die from stupidity.
I tend to think like with gay men, and I can't say this because I don't necessarily know about it, but gay men and like chemsex, you know, where they get together and they have like, they take like
lots of drugs.
Yeah, different drugs and have sex and stuff like that. It's like I get the drug sex combination, you know, could potentially be pleasurable, could also be horrible, but I think it's probably like I have to do and be who I am, and on top of it, it's like I have to like somehow not be who I am, and I think that's where like the drugs come into play. Why chemsex is so like prevalent amongst like gay men is because it's internalized homophobia, it's internalized hatred, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I bet everyone who's gay or lesbian or everything, we all feel that way at one point or another.
It's just chemsex is more prevalent among gay men.
Right. You can't help who you are, though. Just let people be who they are. Don't judge. I don't care who you sleep with. I don't care how you live your life. That's your choice.
You should care. Right?
I should.
You should care because at least us all living in like a better society, a happier, better society.
Maybe I just don't say it the right way.
You know, who you are, how you identify, you know, is not just necessarily your own business. You know, what your sexuality is not necessarily just your own business.
Well, if I could pass on to someone something good that would help people with that, like we are right now, that'd be great. If it helps one person, then you've done something good. Maybe someone's watching this and they were going to kill themselves, and maybe they won't now. You don't know. You don't know. But if you could help, like just one person, it's worth it.
But the idea that you were going to like the parents should be deciding one. You know the truth, like really, this whole thing about pronouns makes no difference. It changes nothing. It changes nothing, and it's probably more or less just.
It's going to do more harm than good. That's for sure. That's a for sure. You shove things down people's throat that they don't want.
Well, there's all this like LGBT hatred going on now in Canada, and rallies and stuff like that, and doing stuff like banning the use of pronouns when you're a teenager or whatnot, right? It's like people will jump on that. You're drawing out people's hatred.
Because they got nothing better to do.
And that's what makes political parties stronger.
Yeah, well,
people unite with hatred.
Why do people have to feel the way they do and die because of some political party's hatred? Aren't governments supposed to be helping us, not hurting us?
Political parties who draw and feed upon people's hatred. Like the DeSantis camp in Florida. Like I was saying, they literally have like YouTubers on. They literally had YouTubers on there, and they're just spewing hate, right, towards like black people, non-binary people, trans people, women, you know, women who breastfeed, or, you know, like saying things
one of
like,
the most natural things on the planet.
Like women belong in the home, you know, cooking and cleaning and all this kind of like just backwards 1950s crap.
Yeah, in today's day and age, that ain't gonna fly.
They literally have people up on YouTube DeSantis camp in Florida literally has people up on YouTube propagating hatred, getting people riled up with hatred.
Okay, then.
Because they can feed upon it. They can literally use that.
And what's YouTube thinking, letting these people come on and actually spew this stuff?
Well, there's the whole aspect of free speech. YouTube is an American platform. And all of that free speech and all of that hatred, that all spills over into Canada.
Yeah. Keep it over there. We don't want it. Because it's bad. The mentality's just off the chart. In this day and age, come on. Anything goes now. That's the way life is now. Anything goes, and it's just.
I know that anything goes.
Well, it just seems that way to me. It doesn't make it right. Maybe anything doesn't go and everything, but.
And two, like the whole argument around pronouns is not specifically like a transgender. I mean, it's a transgender thing, right? But it's not just specific to people who are binary.
No.
Right? It's not just like I'm a very binary trans girl, right? And it's like, but there's other ones out there who are like she, they. They're lesbians, but they just acknowledge the fact that there's this they side to them, and that they're women at the same time. They're kind of like both at the same time.
Which is fine. Which should be acceptable.
What harm does it cause?
None. And that's for the whole thing. What harm are we doing? We aren't doing any harm. Because people are going to be who they are no matter what. Nothing that society puts in your faces, or your dad puts your face, or whatever, is going to change everything forever. It may change it for the moment or the year, or whatever, but eventually it's not going to change a damn thing.
A lot of people think that it's a bit like how like when you're a person who's a European person, or what you would call a white person or something, right? Is like looking around and noticing that, like, okay, there's different faces, there's different colored faces around me, right? The status quo is changing. You instinctively become a little scared, right?
Yeah, it would get your attention. You would pay more attention.
And the same is true.
Different.
The same is true with the kind of like the same.
Doesn't mean you condemn it though.
The same is true as kind of like with the Renaissance that's kind of going on now with like, I mean, the hippies had their own kind of like Renaissance, right?
Oh, for
and
sure.
There's very much like a kind of a sexual revolution that's like happening nowadays with like LGBT people and people who transition, right? I mean, people who transition are part of the LGBT, but there's very much like a renaissance that is like going on in relation to sexuality and gender identity. But the thing though is it is not something that is generating something, right? It's not something that's like we're putting a head upon top of a head upon a head. We're building something up. We're creating something. It's like, this is the way it is.
And it ain't going
This is the way
anywhere.
it's been for us our entire lives. This is the way it is for a lot of people who are like us, right? We're in the minority, but this is the way it is for a lot of people who are like us. And it's never going to change.
It's not going anywhere.
It's never going to change.
It's not going to change.
It's not going to change any more than heterosexuality is going to change.
You could put a gun to my head and it still ain't going to change the damn thing.
All conform, but it's not going to change anything.
She may conform, but I'm sick of conforming. I ain't conforming to squat anymore if I don't have to, honestly.
Al-Qaeda rolled into town. Do you don't think we would conform? We would conform.
No. I talked to my brother the other day, and I want to buy a gun, because if someone's coming to my door to kill me, I'm going to shoot them first.
But too, at the same time too, it's like saying like, well, if Al-Qaeda rolled in town and put a gun to my head, would I like detransition? Yeah, probably, in order to live another day. But the same is true of like something like not allowing children to use pronouns, but they're going to do it anyway. They're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're going to do it anyway. But the thing is this is just fascism.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's maybe on a lesser degree, but it's still fascism. You look at like Putin. Putin's whole issue with the West is gender freedom. Is Putin not a fascist?
Oh, please, yeah.
Of course, Putin's a fascist.
He's a fascist pig.
He's as much as a fascist as like Stalin
he's part of what's
or Hitler.
Wrong. He's part of what's wrong with our world, as far as I'm concerned.
You know, he has the same point of view about gender freedoms. The DeSantis camp in Florida has the same point of view about gender freedoms, right? And now in Canada,
we're starting to do it too.
Politicians are having the same opinion about gender freedoms. And why? Fascism.
Yeah, why did we create that word? Yeah.
And the thing about fascism is if you keep your mouth shut and try to fly on the radar, it'll never fucking work.
You can't fly under the radar.
You can't fly on the radar. It'll never fucking work. People call me faggot like my entire fucking life. Right? I've never been able to hide it. Never been able to hide that I'm like this. I mean, if you call this a faggot, right?
No. Woman. This is a woman.
I know, but because, I have this, people automatically just assume that I'm like a gay dude because I'm like this, right? And this is not, people label that as being a faggot, and I'm not.
I know you're not. Farthest thing from a faggot.
Right, but people are going to call, but at the same time, there's nothing wrong with being a gay man.
No.
Right, if I was a gay man, I would have no shame about it.
To each his own is what I say.
Fuck shame.
Whatever makes you happy, do what makes you happy, please. Don't let people shove anything down your throat. If you want to do it and it makes you happy, do it. Don't conform. Don't do it. You're not doing yourself any favor, and it's not going to change a damn thing.
Although the idea of being a straight boy is like,
the idea of being with a guy with hair all over him. No. Yeah.
Straight boy. It's awful.
Staying with a boy would be awful. Sorry.
Like being born into hell.
I'll never be with a boy ever again. And I know that about myself. It won't happen.
Not that there's anything wrong with being a straight boy.
No. To each his own. But I'm not judging you because you're a straight boy, so why would you judge me because I'm a lesbian and I love women?
There's no shame in any form of like sexuality or gender identity.
Don't forget that.
And two, if you look at variance, if you look at like, what's the word for it? Oh God, what is the word for it?
I don't know. I can't think of it. There's probably a lot of words for it, honestly.
Diversity. If you look at diversity, and you look at like, you look at like different countries around the world, right, where they're very, 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 very diverse, right? There's all kinds of different aspects, cultural to them, and innovation, and all kinds of sorts of things that like come out of that various type of diversity. Diversity is a good thing, right? Diversity of thought, not always the best thing. Sometimes a good thing, sometimes a bad thing.
Right.
Right? It's hard to have diversity and unity, for example, when it comes to something like religion.
Well, religion's a whole different ballgame. Like, yeah. To each his own on that one. I believe in God in my own way. That's all I'm going to say about religion, because that's a whole other thing that you could talk about for days.
I think when it comes to something like religion, it comes to something that you can't prove nor disprove, like the idea of God, right? Then it should not be something that you should be allowed to subject other people to.
I believe there's something out there, I just don't know what it is.
This is your own philosophy, this is your own faith, this is something that you apply to you. Right? You should not have to you should not be allowed to enforce it upon other people.
Right.
Nobody's enforcing pronouns. Nobody's forcing people to change their pronouns, right? This is not a religion. This is just more about like identity.
Yeah.
Or in some cases sexuality. Right? But like it's like you should not I mean the major problem with religion, and as a person who's Buddhist, and Buddhism is often very much like, you talk to someone like the Dalai Lama, for example, who's a famous Buddhist, he'll probably tell you very much that Buddhism is a religion. And to a lot of followers of Buddhism, it's to them it's very much a religion. It's not so much a religion to me, but to them it is.
And to each his own.
But religion is a divisive line.
Well, there's a thin line.
Right? Religion is a divisive line. Religion is a cultural divisive line. Religion is something that you use against another person. It's like you put a line in the sand and you say, I am like this, you are like that.
Well, what
right?
do they say?
Things stay on that side and things stay on this side.
There's a thin line. There's a song titled Between Love and Hate. Right? It's very thin. Like, that's ultimately, I just want everyone to be who they want to be.
But religion in and of itself, whilst it might be beneficial to people who are, on one side of the line or the other, like when I used to go to church when I was a Protestant, it was very much like there's a sense of community to church. It's not a bad thing.
Well, when I first came here and I got this apartment, and I live across the road from a church, and I was feeling really alone and stuff, and just didn't really want to go and meet people in a bar. I almost went across the road and went to church just to meet people. I never actually did it because religion is something else in most cases. And then
but that's because it is a divisive line. It is something that, one person uses against another person. For example, Palestine, Israel. Like, would Palestine, Israel be having a war right now if it was not for that divisive line?
Probably not. And in this day and age, we're still killing each other. We're supposed to be...
But at the same time, too, it's like you remove that line, we'll kill each other over, grains of sand.
Right? So. That's about it. That's about it.
We'd literally kill each other over inches of ground that we could never actually own anyway.
Right? Because we owned it once. Now we're coming back for it.
No, literally, how do you possess ground?
You don't. It's there. You walk on it, but it's not yours.
It's there before you were born. It'll be there after you're dead. How did you possess it?
You don't. You walk on it, and that's it. The ground that you walk on is not yours. Never will be. It'll still be there when I'm gone. And when you're gone, when... Yeah. So
what am I supposed to call it?
I'm done.
Quits here.
Yeah, we've been on here for an hour. Peace out.